All right, let's talk about construction. For a lot of folks in the industry, chaos is just, well, it's the default setting, right? But what if you could have a digital blueprint to manage all that mess? Today, we're going to dig into the DPR Latasha PMC system. It's a tool that's built to track literally everything, every project, every worker, every single material, all in one place. So let's see how it actually works. Okay, but before we jump into the shiny new solution, let's get real about the problem. Because you can't really appreciate what this thing does until you understand just how broken the old way of doing things can be. And for anyone who's ever been on a job site, this is probably going to sound very familiar. So, I've got a question for you. Do these tools look familiar? I mean, for years, managing a construction project has felt like a patchwork job, right? You've got paper here, some crazy spreadsheets there, endless phone calls. None of these things were actually designed for the high-speed, chaotic reality of a real job site. I mean, just think about it for a second. Handwritten registers, they get lost or ruined by the rain. Those super complicated Excel sheets, one wrong formula and the whole thing breaks. And WhatsApp? Oh boy. Those chats just become this endless scroll where you can never find anything. And don't even get me started on verbal updates. They just vanish. Every single one of these is a weak link. And when you put them all together, it's a recipe for total confusion and some seriously expensive delays.
It all boils down to this one simple daily question you hear on sites all over. Gitna gam hua. It just means how much work got done today. And that question, right there, perfectly sums up the core problem. When all your info is scattered across notebooks and phones and spreadsheets, getting a straight answer is, well, it's pretty much impossible. It's that lack of one single source of truth that really grinds projects to a halt.
So what's the alternative to all this chaos? Well, it's a digital system that was built from the ground up to flip that script completely. We're talking about going from total confusion to absolute clarity. And the answer, really, is instant visibility. Take a look at this. This is the main dashboard. No more digging through emails or making calls. Right here, you can see every single project, its status, its completion percentage, everything, just at a glance. It totally replaces the guesswork with real, actionable data, right from the second you log in. So what is this thing at its core? Well, it's a complete system for project management and, crucially, daily progress reporting. And here's the key. It was designed specifically for the construction industry. This isn't some generic project tool that's been tweaked a little bit. Nope. It was built from scratch to understand the unique dance between tasks, labor, and materials that only happens on a job site. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. We'll start with that bird's eye view, the one a project manager would use. You'll see how this really becomes a command center for every single site they're running. So you can click on any one of those projects and boom, you get its vital signs all on one screen. You see the overall completion percentage, a nice, clear breakdown of all the tasks and the key dates. All that high-level info you need is right there, instantly. No more hunting through files or making a dozen phone calls. And you can go even deeper. You can drill right down to the nitty-gritty. Let's say you have a big task, like foundation work, where you can break that down into all the smaller subtasks. And right here, you can see the progress on every single one of them, updated daily with a full history of the work. This just gets rid of any confusion about what's actually been done and when. Now, when you have all this important data in one spot, control is everything, right? The system handles this with something called role-based access. Think of it like giving everyone a different set of keys. The admin has the master key to everything. A site engineer, their key only lets them update progress on the tasks they're assigned to. And you can even give a client a key that only lets them view the progress. So everyone sees exactly what they're supposed to see and nothing they're not. Okay, that all sounds great, but you might be wondering, how does all this data even get into the system? Well, let's shift gears. We're going to move from the manager's office right down to the construction site itself and see how the team on the ground can report what's happening live in real time. Okay, a huge piece of this puzzle is live labor tracking. Every single day, the site engineer just logs the number of workers and what kind of work they're doing. And then, this is the cool part, the system automatically calculates the running total of man days for the project. This gives you a super powerful, real-time way to keep an eye on your costs and how things are performing. And the best part is, the process is incredibly simple. A site engineer can just pull out their phone, tap in the dates, the labor type, the count, and that's it. The log is updated. We're talking a few seconds, right there on site. This completely gets rid of that horrible manual data entry chore at the end of a long, hard day. And it's the exact same idea for materials. The system gives you a live look at your inventory. It tracks what you've received, what you've used, and what you've got left. Having that kind of transparency helps you avoid two big problems: running out of something critical, which causes delays, and ordering way too much, which just ties up your money. And yep, just like with labor, the whole interface is built for speed. A quick look at the dashboard and you know your stock levels. A delivery shows up, or you use up some cement. It takes just a second to log it. That means your inventory data is always up to date and accurate because it's being updated live from the site. All right, so we've seen a bunch of the features, but how does a system like this really stack up against the old ways of doing things? Let's put them head to head and find out. This comparison pretty much tells the whole story, doesn't it? When you look at the really critical stuff for construction, like tracking your labor and materials, the old manual and Excel ways are just full of potential errors. And even those generic project management apps, they often just don't have these specific features built in. You can see right here how a system that's purpose-built for construction just checks all the boxes that the other methods, well, they just can't.
And this slide right here really gets to the heart of the whole thing. The old way, that means an engineer finishes a long day on site only to have to start a second shift doing data entry back in the office. The new way, they update everything right then and there, from their phone. Look, construction happens on the job site, not behind a desk in an office. This system is built around that fundamental reality.
At the end of the day, new tech is only useful if it actually helps the business, right? So what are the real, tangible benefits of making this switch to a modern approach? Let's break it down. The benefits are pretty clear. First off, you get way better cost control because you actually know what you're spending on labor and materials in real time. You start making faster, smarter decisions because you're not guessing anymore. You look way more professional to your clients, and maybe most importantly, you slash the number of simple manual errors that can end up costing you a ton of time and money. So, to put it simply, this system takes all those scattered, chaotic pieces, the handwritten books, the messy spreadsheets, the endless WhatsApp groups, and it pulls them all together into one single, smart, professional dashboard. It becomes that one source of truth for the entire life of the project. And really, that's the ultimate goal here. It's not just about managing a project a little bit better. It's about transforming the entire job site to a smart, digital, and totally transparent environment, which kind of leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? In an industry where delays and cost overruns are just accepted as normal, is having this kind of clarity no longer just a nice advantage? Is it actually becoming a necessity just to survive?